Margaret Vacharshin agus fáilte chvíal of Ula do ré úd to meet the sponsors. Hello, good afternoon everybody and welcome to another series of Meet the Sponsors here on Hands Up for Trad. It's lovely to be talking to you again. 1 year on, as you can see, I am still in my living room, but this does not mean that we might have not made any progress. So those of you who watched the Meet the Sponsors series last year, you will remember that the Trad Awards were all happening from the comfort of your own home. This year, however, there will be a live extravaganza of events, which we're really thrilled about. However, these online sessions do also give us a chance to talk in a wee bit more detail with the sponsors, without whom we would not be able to hold the Trad Music Awards. If you are listening at home, do say hello in our wee chat function. It's always nice to hear from you. So we're kicking off things with 3 sponsors who have been involved in the Trads for a number of years. We have Martin Hadden from Burnham Cds. They are once again sponsoring the Album of the Year category at the Trads. We have Alex Ogilvie, also from the Highland Society of London, who are involved with sponsorship of the Gaelic Singer of the Year Award. And finally, Wendy Stevenson from UHI, who are involved with the Musician of the Year. Good afternoon and welcome everybody to another sponsor program.
Hello there.
Now, as always happens when you're dealing with the wonder of modern technology, I think we have lost Alex. So the shady figure that you see here, he will hopefully appear and come back in. But Martin, I'll come to you first. Lovely to see you again.
You too.
It's been a year. How are things looking for yourself and Burnham?
But things are great up at Burnham. We're very busy at the moment. I think as bands have started to eye up getting back out on the road and getting their merch tables reassembled. Yeah. A lot of bands who have planned albums and maybe postponed them are going ahead with them now. So we've got a lot of new albums on the go that we're producing at the moment. We recently did an album for the new album for Manran, which has just come out. We've got new albums coming up that we're pressing for Nightworks, Ben Lee, Westward Delight, Jim and Susie Malcolm, and we work with artists out with Scotland as well. So we're doing a new double album for Jim Cosley, the great English singer from Devon, and a retrospective of Roy Bailey, and I could go on. We're busy.
Wonderful. And I'm sure many people out there will know Burnham inside out, but if there is anybody watching this for the first time and wants to find out a wee bit more about you and your work, can you tell us? Because I know there are hundreds of different strands to the work that Burnham are involved in.
Yeah, well, I mean, we set up in 1986 doing cassette duplication because there was no facility for that in Scotland. And I had just come off the road with Silly Wizard, or we were about to do our last tour. And so we started off doing cassette duplication, and then as things have moved, we've just sort of tried to move with it. So we went into CD production, and then we were doing videos and DVDs, and nowadays we can set up digital distribution, downloads and streaming. We're pressing vinyl again, quite a lot of vinyl at the moment, and we work mostly with independent artists who are putting the albums out themselves with no record company support or record label backup. So we offer a lot of services that will provide the sort of services that a label should provide. I would say would provide, but not all of them do. So we can do promotion, media promotion for an artist's album. We do press advertising packages. We'll just all sorts of things, and posters and flyers and all kinds of other publicity things. Anything that will help bring the music out to a wider audience. So.
Yeah. And you've been involved with the Trad Awards from the start. And how important is it for you that Burnham have had this relationship and are continuing to support the Trad Awards?
Oh, I think it's very important. I mean, it's become I feel almost joined at the hip with Simon nowadays with these, because we have been here right since the beginning, and I think it's possibly only us and Green Tracks who have been sponsors since the very beginning. I could be wrong there, but we've been there right since the beginning, and I think as because we independently, we're not a record label, we independently produce albums for people, so it's important for us to be seen to be supporting the album of the year event and the award, and we work with so many people within the Scottish scene that it's been great for us over the years. There's so many artists that we've produced albums for who have won the awards, and this year, on the shortlist this year of the 10 albums who are shortlisted, we actually pressed 6 of them, which is quite a good hit rate. However, we've been in this kind of situation before, and one of the others has won, and they're all great albums. So I won't even tell you which ones we did.
Well, and actually, that's what I
think it's a great
thought when I was looking at the 10 that were on the final list. Actually, despite the fact we've been in lockdown, it's been a really difficult time for musicians over the last 18 months to 2 years. The music that has been produced has been phenomenal, and that I mean, it's a really strong shortlist of 10 very different albums.
Very different, yeah, and I noticed as well. I was looking through it just before the program started here, and it's geographically they're quite spread as well. There's a couple of artists from the Orkneys, and then there's artists from the Western Isles, and then all over Scotland, and there is there's instrumental stuff, there's Gaelic, there's stuff in Scots, so it's a great selection, and a difficult one to call this year, as it usually is.
Absolutely, and I think that's probably one of the categories that is the most sought and fought over, because you are trying to look at everyone and the whole spectre of traditional music, which is so wide anyway.
Yeah, and it's good to see a few, at least one or two new artists coming in, and some of the younger artists as well. Yeah. Because I mean, over the years, I think a few of the established artists have won it quite often. I think Duncan Chisholm and Julie Fowlis are on a hat trick each, or they maybe have 3 each already. And I know Brayback have won it quite often as well. So it's good to see some of the younger bands, more emerging bands, get a chance to shine as well.
Absolutely. And actually, talking of young emerging artists, I'm going to quickly shift over to have a wee chat with Wendy Stevenson. Now, Wendy is the program leader of the traditional music course at UHI, who are sponsors of the Musician of the Year awards. And I feel like I'm going to be saying the same thing to everybody since I haven't moved in a year, but it is lovely to see you back, Wendy, and to see UHI involved once more in another very, very competitive category.
Absolutely. We're delighted to be back. This is our 3rd year in sponsoring Musician of the Year, and it's so important to us, obviously, to represent the university and the thinking about the large region that the University of the Highlands and Islands represents, the Highlands and Islands. And, you mentioned their program leader for the traditional music. I'm actually program leader for the BA in Applied Music, which is a multi-genre degree. So it's like, and it's So, but we do have a lot of traditional musicians that have been through our courses, and of course, each year we are seeing alumni and even current students represented, nominated, and here shortlisted for some of the awards. So. It's great to see, also as well as like the breadth of talent, to see different regions represented, different age groups, and to see a lot of creativity. So
And particularly creativity after such a difficult year and a half that has made, it's been a tough time for musicians in particular. And actually, when you look at the talent that is involved in the Trad Awards, it's really inspiring to see that.
Absolutely. I think musicians are some of the most resilient people, as well as being, obviously, you have to be sensitive. I think you have to be collaborative, and there's so many skills that being a musician requires. Well, I think that people who study music are studying not just music, but they're studying skills for life, and they're more than ever. I would say
Oh,
relevant skills because of the world that we're living in and the challenges that we face. And it's something that I'm very proud of, is how our students in the University of the Highlands and Islands have managed um, to sustain themselves during lockdown. It's been really, really challenging, but they've emerged and they've applied themselves, and we've had some very interesting projects that have been going on. And you can see by the very fact that we have representation in these awards that our students and our graduates have been busy.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you now have had that course running for 10 years.
We started in 2011 was when we started the plans, and we started first delivering in 2012. So, we were writing the course 10 years ago. So we're actually
Yeah.
celebrating next week. We're having an event online, 10 years reflection, kind of celebration, information session about our degree course. If anyone wants to join, have a look up UHI events. I can send you a link if you want to put it in the chat. And in fact,
Please.
I know that Simon's already got the link, actually. So yeah, that's where we're at. And we've also had the MA Music and the Environment, which is a natural lead on from the BA in Applied Music, and also, again, attracted quite a lot of traditional music students. And the MA Music Environment graduate, in fact, Sheila Sapkota, who's represented in Community Project of the year. She went through all of Applied Music and then the MA Music and the Environment. And that was just a chance meeting when I was teaching at the Ullapool Adult Face, and met Sheila, and it's been a joy to get to know her and see the contribution she's made to her community. So
Absolutely. And I think it's definitely worth checking that out if anybody is interested. You've got a really inspiring course in an inspiring setting. And I hear also led by the most inspiring teacher at the UHI.
thank you. This is
Yeah.
true. I did win the most inspiring lecturer of UHI award this year. I'm very thrilled by that. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, congratulations. It's always lovely to see somebody who is working as hard as you are, getting a bit of recognition. And yeah, if you've ever looked into the UHI and how enormous it is, that is no mean feat. Now, Martin, if I can maybe bring it back to you for a minute, as I know you're listening there behind the screen. Obviously, we're talking about how the Martin's appeared back in our now very fancy spangly window appearing here. But
All right.
obviously, you've gone through different stages of the traditional music careers, and have you seen quite a difference even in the last couple of years due to the COVID pandemic, due to musicians having to change the way they work from your side of the business?
That's a difficult one. I mean, from what we do, not particularly. I mean, it's sort of been on pause. The sort of stuff we do has been ticking over for the last couple of years, and just recently it started, as things are starting to re-emerge, it started to pick up quite busy again. But I mean, like I said earlier, people had albums planned. I mean, last year was a big anniversary year. So like Manran, for example, I think it was their 10th anniversary year. They were planning to do this big album launch last year, but they've ended up just releasing the album this year because it was very uncertain as to whether or not it was worth doing. I think there were two or three other bands, if I remember rightly, who also had anniversary years, and they've ended up postponing the thing. So I think last year last year everyone just took a pause because they really weren't sure how things were going to shake down, you know. And this year, people have started to get used to it and started to look at the ways forward. And I think it's been great, the innovations that people have come up with, the online innovations, all these online concerts, and ways of keeping the music alive, as it were. And I know, I mean, my lifelong friend Dougie McLean, who just stays a couple of miles away here, he popped into the office just about a week ago or so, and he was talking. He's doing these Saturday night live events from the studio out at Butterston, where he does his own recordings and TV stuff anyway. And he said he's absolutely loving it. He's done like 100 of them or something, and he does it every Saturday night. And he says it's great. You do this gig, and then you walk through to the kitchen, or you make a cup of tea and then watch the telly. He's absolutely loving it, and I think it's great the way that people have made that transition. And it'll be interesting once things fully open up again, which I hope they will soon. It'll be interesting to see how that all works out, and if we're going to move into an era of sort of hybrid sort of events, you know, where people can watch online or be present. You know,
and that has been in some way the one silver lining of lockdown is geography hasn't been that physical barrier to folk from attending gigs.
Not only gigs. I mean, other things that go on as well. I mean, I'm on the board of the Trad Music Forum, and I only joined the board. We got one meeting in, which happened in Perth before lockdown happened, and then all the meetings we've done since then have been online. And the other members tell me that the attendance has been far better since the meetings went on to Zoom, because everyone can come in. You know, people are based all over the country, but so it may be a problem on a Wednesday or something to get from north of Inverness down to Perth for a meeting, but you can go on Zoom for a couple of hours. So things that are happening like that are a lot easier to achieve as well.
Oh, absolutely. And I've seen that across the board. And I think meeting attendance is one in particular, where if you're looking at the choice between driving 4 hours to attend a 1 hour meeting or doing it from your living room where you've got a cup of tea in your hand and your slippers on, you know, there really is.
I've got slippers on just now, actually.
So do I. I've got my tea here. I'm very comfy. I know, though, it has been quite a challenging year, particularly financially, for many musicians. And I had seen recently, Wendy, that there are bursaries becoming available for US music. Can you tell us a wee bit more about that?
Okay, so first of all, although we mentioned earlier, I mentioned that, you know, I'm program lead for the Applied Music, which is across the University of the Highlands and Islands. I'm based, however, in Uist. And I was working here delivering HNC face-to-face provision for years before I took on the role of Applied Music. So I'm still here, and we've got Alan Henderson is running the HNC locally, and I set up the Uist Music Scholarship, which is £1,000 scholarship for somebody that decides to come to study music in Uist and base themselves there. It's a place of inspiration, and this year we've got a student from Germany who is with us. And in fact, you know, we had a student from Germany last year with us as well, who came to Uist. So we've been running this as the third year, but it's open. The deadline for applications is the 31st of May, 2022. And it's very simple. All you have to do is go to the Lewis Castle College website and look in the search bar or I can get that exact address for you for the scholarship. So it's www.lewis.uhi.ac.uk. And I would say you can then /subjects, then creative industries, then music, then US Music Scholarship 21. I don't make the website. I think maybe just use the search bar, or else if I haven't got the capacity to do a chat share, I don't think here. But if you have a look at that, or maybe I do. All I would say is have a look at that. If you're interested, you won't regret it.
Yeah. I mean, a beautiful place, a fabulous course. What more could you ask for? And once again, Hands Up for Trad are very thankful to UHI for sponsoring the Musician of the Year award. You really can't run these types of award shows without sponsors. And also remember, we plug the Hands Up for Trad afternoon show is going to be on a wee bit later after this at 2 p.m, featuring 3 nominees from the Musician of the Year category: Finlay Napier, Barry Hall, and Ingrid Henderson. So that will definitely be one to listen into. Now, Anna Wendy did a very good plug there for all things UHI. Martin, I feel it's only fair that tell us about Burnham, where we can find you, and if there is anybody out there that would like to find out a wee bit more about all their CD manufacturing needs, design needs, and even more, where do they go? What do they do?
It's just burnhamcd.com. We're very simple, and your nonsense like that, Anna, Wendy, Stevenson, with all these things, just burnhamcd.com.
And,
I was going to mention, point out as well that you were mentioning Simon's show at 2:00 with Finlay Napier, Barry Hall, and Ingrid Henderson. These are all people who we've done albums for this year at Burnham.
Oh, fabulous.
So, if you've got an album coming up, just go there.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, if there is anybody out there that would like to find out a wee bit more about all the different nominees across all the categories and about our sponsors, do feel free to visit the Hands Up for Trad website. Now, the specific website for the award, www. And I'm going to make sure I get this right, scotstradmusicawards.com. Loads of information there about all the very deserving nominees and the generous sponsors. As I was saying earlier, the Trad Awards are happening in person this time, although it will be a much smaller version if you are there in the flesh. But as always, you can watch the awards on BBC ALBA. They will be going live from 9 p.m. on Saturday, the 4th of December. And it's always a great show. And as we all have been saying, probably all practically across the last 2 years, although it's great to be watching in the flesh, as it were. Actually, watching online is not a bad second best, and the BBC ALBA show is always fantastic. Now, I think, sadly, Alex Ogilvie from the Highland Society of London has disappeared into cyberspace. We'll maybe get him back in one of our future shows. Mis creaach mé an dúb bhhealm taing a háirt in the huyen a bheith acin. Before we finish up today, just a huge thanks to Anna Wendy Stevenson and Martin Hadden. As I said, we are so indebted to all our sponsors as they do make events like Hands Up for Trad. What is the name of the event? The Scots Trad Music Awards happen, and this is showing how lockdown has been going for me over the last year. But we're so grateful for them also to take their time and come and talk to us. So do check out the website, make sure that you're watching, and keep an eye on Hands Up for Trad's site, as we're going to have more interviews with some of our sponsors next week, the following week, and as long as we can fit them in before the awards. So Vuamsa Choyden Lop, thank you very much for watching, and as always, a huge thanks to Simon, who is hiding in the background doing all the technical stuff. Agus Kainichev, do remember 2 p.m. Hands Up for Trad show, afternoon show, will be here with Simon in the driving seat, and 3 fabulous musicians are going to be visiting. So Cumov Close, Ri Klashniach, make sure you tune in for that. Tierin Drasta.